Now, page 4, blowing the whistle on the whistleblowers. There is a bureaucrat on Capitol Hill whose job title is Executive Director for the IC's Center for Protected Disclosures. IC meaning the intelligence community. So this guy is in charge of establishing protocols for whistleblower complaints. Well, a new executive director took over recently, and this person made some changes or clarifications in the whistleblower process. Previous to this new director, whistleblowers had to have direct, first-hand knowledge of any wrongdoing. But the new guy suddenly said, no, first-hand knowledge is not necessary in order to file a whistleblower complaint. Apparently, this is an implied change. The whistleblower forms do not address first-hand versus second-hand information. However, any first-year law student could tell this new director of protected disclosures that only first-hand knowledge is admissible in court. Everything else is considered hearsay or gossip. First-hand knowledge is implied as part of our due process rights, the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution, the right to confront an accuser. How in the world can the accused retain that right under the Bill of Rights if the accuser possesses no first-hand knowledge? Imagine if our legal system were to be guided by second-hand information. Be a mess. People would be suing each other and accusing each other of nefarious activity based on zero evidence. Well, that's apparently the new standard for whistleblowers. And it is the very glaring problem in the whistleblower report accusing President Trump of crimes that did not occur. This whistleblower has no first-hand knowledge of anything. So this new director of protected disclosures needs to be held accountable by the director of national intelligence who works under, yes, the President of the United States. Blow the whistle on this guy who is corrupting the process of whistleblowers. And so why? Why this unilateral change or interpretation being made? Maybe the Democrat congressman from Maryland, John Sarbanes, has the answer. After all, he seems to have all the answers to this phony impeachment inquiry.
Absolutely, we have guidance from our leadership,
Guidance by our leadership. Of course, this would be Nancy Pelosi, right? So Sarbanes is saying that all these members of the Democrat caucus are being guided by the leadership, the tutelage of Nancy Pelosi. We also know what's guiding these folks as well, and that's AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, the radical tail that wags the dog of the Democrat caucus in the House of Representatives. That's also what's going on here. And of course, you throw in there the rabid Jerry Nadler and the radical Schiff from California and a few others. You add it all up, and Nancy Pelosi is being pressured tremendously to move forward with this, quote, impeachment inquiry. So that's the so-called leadership. She's caving. But think about the leadership, or the lack thereof. And think about this through the prism of the framers of the Constitution, who gave us this solemn process of impeachment only to be used in an emergency, as a ripcord to be pulled when something really bad is happening with an elected or non-elected official in government. Think about how they would be viewing this. This impeachment process didn't start a few months ago, didn't even start a year ago. It started on January 20th, 2017. Think back. Look in the archives. Look around. You'll see Al Green, not the singer with the pearly tunes and tones of his voice, Al Green, the lunatic from Texas who represents a small portion of liberal Texas. If that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what is. Think about Al Green and think about, of course, Maxine Waters. Both of these fools, buffoons, were out there on the floor and out in public calling for the impeachment of President Trump within days of him being sworn in to the Oval Office. Again, January 20th, 2017 is when the impeachment inquiry process began. But remember this as well. There is no such thing as an impeachment inquiry until the entire House of Representatives says, yes, proceed with an impeachment inquiry. This is the process that the framers of the Constitution set up for us to do. They wanted the entire House to be in on this process because it was and is such a solemn process, a process of an emergency use only, but not under the Nancy Pelosi-led House of Representatives, no. It's been completely weaponized and completely turned on its ear. So we have this impeachment, quote, inquiry before we have a full vote of the House of Representatives. In fact, we may never have a full vote of the House of Representatives. Why?
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.